Let's get more on this and speak to Rina Shah, a political strategist and formerly a Republican National Convention delegate in 2016. Rina, good to see you. Thanks very much for being with us today. What is your sense of where different groups of support lies within the Republican Party, within MAGA, on the Ukraine question? Because obviously Republicans also have been somewhat split on this historically.
Hello, great to be with you. It has been quite a few days that Washington has been buzzing over this Ukraine plan. It's over the weekend, there were a lot of head scratching going on. This week, we have seen people nervous about where we might end up with all of this from the White House into Congress. There have been a lot of talks about the confusion also that has spilled into the public. Honestly, I think at this very moment in time, what we're looking at regarding this Ukraine plan and the Republican Party is that the Republican Party is having a full-on family argument in public.
And just talk us through how that might be affecting President Trump's support within the MAGA and also his thinking in that case.
Look, the Republican reaction to this 28-point plan that's been talked about, the Trump wing really loves it. They see a fast deal and they say, finally, no more blank checks. But the old guard hawks, people like Senator McConnell, Senator Graham, even Secretary of State Rubio, they behind closed doors, they're calling it Vladimir Putin's Christmas list. This is the biggest Republican foreign policy split since Iraq.
And how does that get resolved, do you think? Because we've heard just from our correspondent about the two, policy teams between the Vice President and the Secretary of State, for example, leading different tracks of negotiations. But obviously, everyone wants this to be resolved. It's basically on what terms?
Well, the question, I think, and the daily question in Washington is, will Trump actually bend here? And I would submit that he already has quietly. That Thanksgiving deadline, gone, essentially. I mean, Geneva talks this weekend produced a new draft with Ukrainian input, but Trump wants this win, and he also wants that Nobel Peace Prize selfie. So, yes, I think he will flex, but only up to the point where he still gets to say, I ended the war in one term.
And how much of an issue is this with ordinary members of the Republican Party and the wider public who are perhaps, focused, as all populations are, on their own daily lives and cost of living? Ukraine obviously does factor into that to a degree.
Right. The hawks in the Republican Party totally buy the domino theory here. And that gives Ukraine to Putin, and the Baltics start looking tasty then to Putin. So I think the MAGA crowd essentially just rolls their eyes and says, well, not our backyard, not our problem. But Europe is freaking out here. And they've been warning, obviously, about Putin moving next. But I think there are Republicans on the Hill who are heeding those warnings, and they are understanding why Europe is freaking out because they know who's next if the deterrent here collapses.
Rina Shah, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Thank you.